With the Premier League season just about to start in a few weeks, teams have been hard at work securing new players and strengthening their squads. West Ham, for instance, is a club that's right on the cusp of breaking into the Europa League, but their summer targets to make the next step won't come cheap. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at everything that's fresh in the English transfer market. First up, West Ham's striker search continues this summer. The Hammers are looking to spend big this summer as they prepare to launch a serious top 6 bid, and to get there, they need a clinical striker next to Michael Antonio, who did a lot of heavy lifting for them last season. However, they can't rely on the 32-year-old for much longer as his impact continues to decrease with his age. However, in this market, getting a striker for any decent price is almost impossible. Plus, being a club that's not backed by the richest owners in the world, it's not like West Ham can bring top European talent into their squad anyway. Also, they're in a bit of a unique position in that they can't look lower down the table either. So what are they supposed to do then? Well, the obvious answer would be to look for a top team's forward who's already looking for a way out. However, the thing is, there aren't many players who fit that bill. We've already seen the likes of Gabriel Jesus make their moves. Besides, a player like that wouldn't come cheap or go to West Ham either. This is why they've gone for the next best option, which is to sign a promising young striker who's not getting enough minutes at his parent club, and Chelsea's Armando Broja seems to slot perfectly into their plans. Up next, Broja leaves Chelsea's preseason tour. Chelsea's situation seems even weirder than West Ham's in that they don't actually have a proper striker in their team at all. Like at the start of last season, everyone thought they'd made the signing by bringing Lukaku back to Stamford Bridge for over $100 million, but we all know how that worked out. So with the Belgian heading back to Inter for what seems like a loan spell that's going to turn into a permanent deal, the Blues are left with only Havertz as their sole striking option up front. Yes, we know that they've got Timo Werner too, but honestly, he's not the focal point forward that they need. Now, at the start of preseason, it looked like that we're going to settle in with Armando Broja after his pretty decent loan spell at Southampton. After all, he did score 9 goals for the Saints. Having said that, the Albanians already left the team's preseason tour in America without making any appearances. And while the Chelsea camp's reporting that he's come back to receive treatment for an injury, the West Ham links say otherwise. However, getting Broja won't be easy for the Hammers. Of course, Armando Broja and West Ham sound like a match made in heaven. He's a strong center forward with a knack for linking up the play. Plus, his wage bill won't be massive either as he's still 20 and trying to work his way out of the Cobham cavity. Is there any actual truth to the rumors though? We mean, wouldn't Broja's departure make Thomas Tuchel's squad a bit too light up front? Well, that's a tricky question because the Blues seem to play better with a fluid front three anyway, and having that focal point hasn't helped them in the past couple of seasons. Oh, and Havertz is really stepping up big time for them, especially in big games. So while the Albanians definitely got a chance at racking up minutes, it won't be easy for them. At the same time, however, Chelsea isn't too keen on sending him away to West Ham. Talks are definitely progressing with the Hammers offering £30 million for the forward, but Todd Boehly's camp seems to value their striker a lot more. On top of that, there's this transfer rivalry between the two London clubs as well as with the whole Declan Rice situation. And honestly, if a deal could be struck to swap 2 players with extra funds, then that'd be a win-win situation for everyone. But Thomas Tuchel doesn't think Broja would move away. Now, the transfer rumor mill's something that's never gonna stop. And while there's definitely no smoke without fire, you can't definitively believe in all the rumors either. So according to Chelsea boss Thomas Tuchel, Broja isn't expected to leave the club. Speaking to the press ahead of a preseason friendly, the German said that he's aware of interest from various clubs like West Ham, Everton, and Newcastle for the young striker. But the Blues squad also needs a player of his profile, which means that he'll definitely earn some minutes at the Bridge if he stays this season. Also, apparently the Albanian national was ready to make a mark and show the manager why he deserves to be in the Chelsea squad, but an untimely injury stopped his progress. And rather than using the traveling medical staff to heal him, the club decided to get him some proper treatment back in London instead. Besides, it's not like the 20-year-old's contract is running out anytime soon. Of course, we're not saying that Boehly wouldn't listen to offers for him at all. As a matter of fact, every sign points towards him leaving by the end of the transfer window. It's just the fact that the new owners don't want to be repeating the mistakes of the Abramovich era by offloading promising young talent like Fikayo Tomori or Tino Livramento. However, the Blues have also kind of made it a habit to send players away on permanent deals and include buyback clauses in the contract. So we could honestly see a pretty similar kind of transfer for Armando Broja as well. Now, West Ham's involved in a lot of other business too. It looks like the next few weeks could make or break West Ham's season as they eye a bunch of signings other than Armando Broja. For instance, Manchester United midfielder Jesse Lingard's highly regarded in David Moyes' eyes, and he apparently wants to bring him to the London Stadium on a permanent deal. For context, Lingard had a brilliant loan spell at West Ham that kind of resurrected his dwindling career. But much like how they're facing a tricky situation with Broja, the 29-year-old signature isn't the easiest thing in the world to get either. We mean, in theory, the Hammers seem like the perfect home for him. However, according to reports, they just can't seem to match his wage demands. So instead, Lingard's now looking to secure a move to the newly promoted Nottingham Forest, which would be a pretty interesting transfer for them. Oh, and then there are the links with the Sassuolo striker Gianluca Scamacca, who's also valued at about $40 million. With that said, we've got to remember that West Ham's already signed Nayef Ugard from Rennes this season for $30 million. Plus, they've also activated an option to sign goalkeeper Alphonse Areola for almost £8 million from PSG after his successful loan spell. So honestly, the transfer window hasn't entirely been too bad for either team. It's just that they're lacking that big name up front that could score boatloads of goals and propel them into a Europe League place, at least. And finally, the Hammers continue to prod Lille for Amadou Onana. Now, while most of West Ham's upcoming summer business seems to be contained with the Premier League, they're still trying to make a push for their long-term target, Amadou Onana. The Lille's midfielder's been on David Moyes' radar for quite some time now and seemed like the perfect partner to Declan Rice. Besides, they lost a pretty big name in Mark Noble last season and need some reinforcements there anyway. However, so far Lille's been pretty iffy about letting the 20-year-old go, as he's set to play a pretty significant role in the club's title charge next season. In fact, the Hammers have already submitted 3 bids for the Belgian defensive midfielder without receiving any solid response from the French club. The latest bid, which is said to be around $35 million, is apparently moving some needles among Lille's top brass, with them seriously considering it. But again, every club's trying to retain players in this brutal transfer market, and the League One clubs got some extra motivation for that since they know that they're capable of piping Paris Saint-Germain to the title again. Obviously, with so many summer targets all ranging above $30 million, you can't expect West Ham to sign everyone. Having said that, other than Jesse Lingard, who's going to Forest, all other options seem super viable for David Moyes' new look Hammers. And honestly, if they do manage to bring these players to the London Stadium, there's no reason to believe why they wouldn't just be able to launch another charge toward a top 5 spot in the Premier League. And that's a wrap for today's video. So what do you think? Are West Ham summer targets too young and inexperienced for the Premier League? And what other players should they turn towards? Let us know in the comments down below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.